everybody, it's Stacy with Quick Quotes Scrapbook Company, and I am here to walk you through the October Club Q kits. With every kit we send an instructional video with our Club Q kits, and this is the 4 pages you get for October. And I'm going to show you a few tricks on there and how to add some extra colors so that it matches your pictures. And then if you are a Club Q member, thank you for being a member. I know we try to put new kits out for you every single month, lots of benefits. If you are not a Club Q member and you would like to sign up, I want to show you what you would get in November if you were to sign up. Our Club Q is $32 a month, free shipping, and you always get 4 pages plus an extra pack of paper and ribbon and extras every month, but always free shipping, $32. The kits always have step-by-step instructions. We do an instructional video for you. You get 10% off of all other orders if you are a Club Q member. Lots of benefits to being a member, so if you are not, check it out at shopquickquotes.com. Click on Club Q, and you can sign up there. Great thing about Club Q is you can opt out and skip months, or you can exchange the month for a previous kit. So any questions, let us know, but check it out, and we will get started with October's instructional video. Okay, we are going to get started with Dream Big. This is one of the October Club Q kits, and pretty simple one to put together. We have all the pieces for you. You can always add some color by adding maybe a little colored cardstock behind your photo frames here. You could trim this outside down and put a cardstock behind it to have a color border. You can add a couple of banners here with a different color. So if you want to do something more than just black and white with the copper, you can easily add a little color to your pages to match your pictures. So we are going to get started, and this kit looks like it suggests for Powder Puff Chalky Inks, River Rock, Coal Miner, and Cobblestone. So those are some nice gray colors. There's also feather gray that would work. There is a midnight that would work, a black sand. Lots of different colors that work for this. And if you want to add colors, if you're adding some reds or something to this, you can also use other Powder Puff Chalky inks that help bring those colors out as well. So let's get started with all of our kits. We always at the top put in any cutting instructions. You want to punch out your die cuts and chalk those up as you go. And the great thing about having this video is that we can quickly go through it, but you can also just stop it and do your project as we go, and then push play again and do it at your own pace. So we are going to cut our ribbon to begin with. It says cut your ribbon into 3 1-inch pieces and 2 5-inch pieces. So you can get out a ruler if you would like to, but we need a 1-inch piece, a 1-inch piece, one more 1-inch piece, and then 2 5-inch pieces. That should be left just like that. We will set these aside for now, but those are all cut and ready to go. We'll also be using some of these copper brads. Anytime there is brads or embellishments in our kits, we try to keep them nice and neat in a little packet like this. And I always start with the cutting diagram so that we can get our trimmer out of the way, out of our workspace. So the only cutting diagram in this kit is on a sheet that looks like this. It has tips and tricks on one side, and then it has the diagram on the other. So grab that 12 by 12, it looks like this, there's numbers on it, and get your trimmer out. I'm going to move this out of the way so that we can get started. And I'm actually going to move the background papers right into that same space. so that I'm just ready to go. I'll put my trimmer right on top of that. And we will have glue on my trimmer. And we will start on this diagram. So where we are going to start first is cut these two 4x6s off of the end. So what you want to do, turn your paper sideways, and we will take this to 8, because then that means it's going to cut 4 inches off the end here. So put it in your trimmer at 8 with your numbers going in this direction in your trimmer and trim there. Now this 4-inch piece we're going to trim again at 6 and make it into two 4x6 pieces. And just so you can see what I'm working with, I'm going to write that on here. You don't want to write it on yours, but this makes it easy to see for instructions. This is for page 1. So I kind of set my die cuts and cut papers into which page they go on. So I have written page 1 on these, so I'm going to set that in my page 1 pile. And I already have these smaller ones into my page 1 pile that go onto there, so I'm going to put that over there. Okay, so with what is left, we are going to make a 6x8, a 5x7, and a 1x7.5. So we'll cut out the 6x8 first. So this is already at 8 inches. We trimmed it at 8 inches. You're going to turn it, put it into 6, and we will trim again. So this is 6x8 for page 2. I'm going to put that in my page 2 pile. Now this last piece, we are going to trim or just pull it over to 5 inches. Trim. We're going to use this piece, so I'm going to hang on to that. This one we want at a 5x7, so we turn and we cut it at 7. This is page 2. Whoops. Page 2. Put that in the page 2 pile. And this little piece that is left over, not the small one that came off the end of that, but this longer one that is 8 inches, we are going to cut that down to 7.5. And we'll use that for a little banner later. So this is a 1x7.5. And this goes on page 1 for a banner. Put that in my page 1 pile. These little ones left over are just scraps. You can hang on to them, use them for something else. Because with your Club Q kit, you always get an extra pack of random papers that are in there, so you can make more layouts. Okay, that's the only diagram for this. So we are going to set our trimmer aside for now. And we're going to get started on page 1. So out of your die cut, you had some little, I don't even know what you call these, swirls. There's one that it kind of looks like a mustache when it's on its own. One that goes at the top. And these may not be exactly even all the way across. It's really hard to get that, to do that on the laser machine and line it up exactly right. But you don't even notice once you have all your pictures on and everything is decorated. And I'm going to go ahead and do both sides. These get adhered to the top. And remember to chalk these up as you go. Let's see, this is River Rock. So it just gives it kind of a little gray, a lighter gray look around the edge. You can always use, we have a coconut, which would give it more of a white look around the edge. These get adhered. And again, if they don't go all the way to the edge, it's really hard to get these lined up on the laser machine to cut exactly perfect. If they are not exactly perfect to the edge, no worries. You will not notice once you get them into your book and pictures on them. Okay, page 1, excuse me. We need our 6x9. This came out of a die cut. So if you're looking for this big chunk, it has numbers on one side and it's 6.5 by 9. It's a pretty big chunk of paper. It goes about 1/2 inch. You center it 1/2 inch from the right side of your page. Your 4x6s that you cut out, those get, it's about 1/4 inch from the bottom. And then you kind of just center these so they have about the same amount all the way around. Move this up just a little bit. And then 2 of your smaller frames from your die cut. So you had, in your die cut, you had 1 frame that had this in the middle, the smaller frame in the middle. These are both for page 2. These 2 will be used here. And remember, don't glue these down the entire way because you want to be able to put pictures in them. If you peel these up and put them onto your photo, you just trace around the outside of here so you know exactly where to cut so that this frame fits on it perfectly. And those go here. Now we're going to make our banners. There's a piece in there just by itself that is a chevron on one side and a stripe on the other. The way that we make that into a banner piece, it's this piece right here that we're looking for, the chevron piece. And there is a piece that came out of your die cuts. This goes about 1.5 inches from the top and 1.5 inches in from the side. So you center it in between here. Your chevron piece, what you want to do is just take one end, bend the corners over so that the corners touch. You don't want to crease this because it's hard to fold back out nice and flat, but just fold it over. And then you go from the corner and trim up towards your hand, and it makes a perfect little dove's tail there. Go ahead and chalk that up. And again, if you are adding some color to this, go ahead and choose a Powder Puff chalking ink that highlights that color either in your pictures or some of the other papers that you might be adding to this. Okay, and then this one goes right at the top here. Go ahead and adhere that down. This little piece that we had left over from our cutting diagram, we are going to do the same. Put your little corners together. It might fold and crease just a little bit, but you'll be able to fold it back out. Just don't crease it all the way. And then again, go from the corner, trim straight back up to your hand, and there you have a nice little V. That goes right on here. And then we are going to do our words. So you have, out of your die cut, 3 dark rectangles, 3 white rectangles, and these all get layered on. You can go ahead and layer these together and glue the white onto the dark color, and then you want to find the word that goes on to it. And again, white onto the dark color. Go ahead and adhere these together, and then the word that goes on top of it. And with these, you're going to want to just use a glue pen. It's much easier to get like little pieces of this to glue down. You know what, I'll actually glue these all down. And it doesn't have to be every little piece glued down there, but just get some adhesive kind of around the letters so that it stays on there well. And then the last one, so I'm going to put some on here. Add the white. And then the last words here. And if I'm going a little too fast, just press pause and you can always get right back on, pick up where you left off. That's what's so great about having a video. You can follow along at your own pace. I'm gonna go ahead and glue this on there. A lot of times when I'm doing my sample, I just lay it down on there so that I don't have it all glued together. Glue these pieces. And then your little 1-inch pieces of ribbon, we are going to do the same that we just did with our little banner pieces. Fold the ends, trim up from the corner back to your hand, and I'm going to put some adhesive right on the end so that we can add our ribbon. It doesn't need to go in far. You do that on each one. Fold it over, go from the corners, trim back towards your hand. And flip these over. Put just a little adhesive at the end. Once you have those on, we need to get our brads out of our little bag here. And one brad goes into the end. If you have a paper piercer, this makes it very easy. I just have my scissors, so I'm just going to get a hole started here. And we just center it between the first letter and this edge. I'll just get a hole started, make it easier to get my brad in there. If you have a paper piercer, this makes it very easy. Poke your brad through the hole. Oops. Get my quite all the way through. It's hard to get through 3 layers here. That's why it's nice to have a paper piercer on hand. There we go. And just fold that back. Do that with each one. And you just start at the top of this banner. And I like to get things in place before I actually glue them down because I may want to move them left to right, up, down, whatever you feel looks good on your page. Once you get them in the place where you like them, go ahead and glue those down. And then page 1 is complete. Very simple page. A way to kind of dress this up a little bit is to maybe put another color behind here. Add a couple of banners in a certain color that you like here. and that can really bring out a certain color in your pictures. So we are going to move to page 2. I wrote some. We need our 5x7. And again, chalk up the edges of these in any color you like from the Powder Puff chalking inks. Your 6x8. And don't glue these all the way down until you have your pictures in them. This one is a 4x6. Goes on there. And then page 2, 5x7. This one was from your die cut. You flip that over. That goes here. Your large frame, and make sure you put this onto your photo. Trace out where you need to cut it. Glue your photo in there. Then put it onto your page. What's nice about this month's kits are there's a lot of inside pieces that look like this. I would save them from both kits because you could always use them for tags. Put a little hole here, chalk them up, maybe make a journaling tag out of that. Lots of extra little pieces. You can see this is actually from the other kit that came with this, but there's lots of little tags, some ovals. You could use any of these for little banners or frames. Lots of extra stuff in there to work with for another page, and then you use your paper pack to make a couple more pages that match. So at the tops of these, you just take your 2 5-inch ribbons, tie a knot right in the middle. And if it's not exactly in the middle, that's okay because you can trim the ends. And again, put the 2 corners together, trim back up towards your hand. And you want to do just barely do the ends. And it's nice to use a little glue dot on the back of there, and it goes right at the top of your frame. And again, on this one, if you want to add some reds or burgundies or even blue or aqua or something to this page, go ahead and cut it just slightly bigger than your dark piece of paper, and you can add just a little bit of color behind there. Once you have your ribbons on there, then we have a frame, and it's the larger dark frame from your die cut. There is a white frame that goes on top of that, and some of our rectangles came out of the middle of that, and then this goes right onto the top. The remaining 2 brads go in the ends here. And this acts kind of like a pocket right over the top of your 2 photos. One thing about this page too is you could actually add more photos to it if you wanted to. You can move this to one side. You can do maybe some colored cardstock photos right here, tuck them in under here if you haven't glued this all the way down. Lots of different options with this one. So with having black and white, it's really easy to add some colors to it to make it match your photos. In the first video, the other video for Club Q for October, I showed the layout, and then I showed it with using some extra colors in there as well. One way to add extra colors to this also is, find it 12 by 12, to maybe just add a strip, maybe a 1/2 inch strip. Trim it out here. Of whatever color it is that you want to add to your page. So I have some burgundy here left over from when I showed before. And maybe just add a strip at the top and bottom, or just the bottom. That adds a little color. You can also add some smaller banners. Trim out a banner here. So let's do this. To match that color as well. So really easy to add some extra color to it if you choose to. Maybe tuck one more underneath there. Anyway, lots of options. If you have certain pictures that are going in here and you want to highlight some colors, that's an easy thing to do. I hope you enjoyed Club Q this month. We are excited about November and some of the new papers that are coming out in November, so check that out. And thank you for being a Club Q member. We'll see you next time.